NERDSoul.
Yeah, late ill kid at OneYoungsta, hold it down, breathe that StreetGeek and NERDSoul. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, and let's go because we got NERDSoul gaming, y'all. That's right, we chilling, we out here in them games, y'all, kicking on them games, bruh. And before we get started, we have an esteemed colleague in the house tonight. I give to you, that's right, Coop of Blerd-ish. What's up, man?
Hey, find me on. Speaking of gaming, you can find me on Twitch. I'm also a Twitch gamer as well. Um, you know, blurred underscore ish on Twitch.
All right, okay. Might have to get some foot. You know what? If I don't get some footage from you, I might get some footage from whatever y'all watching. Y'all watching some footage of some games right now. I don't know. Y'all gonna be watching footage or something. Whatever it is, y'all gonna be watching it. But with that said, I don't know if y'all gonna be watching a beat 'em up. Y'all gonna be watching Street Fighter 6. Y'all gonna be watching something. But anyway, Coop sent me a video earlier today. So, Coop, I want you to tee up this video that we're gonna be talking about, the basic gist of everything that's going on.
Okay. I guess we're going to kind of talk about the Game Awards. Which, by the way, I'll say this:
Mhm.
I am a fan of the Game Awards. I love what Jeff Keighley is doing. I sent a video from, I guess his name RTG85. He's one of the
RGT85
RTG85.
or GT. Sorry, RGT. Sorry.
And I just want to say this about him. I did not think he would be a guy that I would like as a personality. Watching this stuff, I finally subscribed to him. He's always a regular on the Spawncast, like kind of podcast or whatever. Like I love their approach. Like I like Spawn. Like ever since I found Spawn Wave, and I'm like, oh, I kind of like how he's approaching it. He's really approaching it like a Dan Rather such an approach to like
Not the Dan Rabbit though.
Hey man, that's a high respect. Us back in the '80s when news was actually news, people played it down the middle instead of like, what Fox News be doing. Like, let's just keep it real. And shout out to some of our people on, CNN, some what they be doing. Instead of playing
they
it
be
down
doing
the middle
stuff now.
everybody's a influencer, per se. Even they supposed to just be reporting the news. For the most part, Spawn just kind of reports the news and he gives you his thought on it, but he ain't really trying to push you one way or the other.
Yeah,
but
he'll tell you between news reporting and news opinion.
Like he does both, and he will tell you what's the opinion, and they do both. And I always like something about Art Sean, I think is his name, or RTG or whatever. He always says he's like, look, I don't have the background of some of my fellow colleagues. I'm not a coder. He said I'm just ultimately a dude who likes talking about video games and play video games. So,
and I mean, honestly, that's all you need. When did it? It's not like none of these people went to like some special like Himalayan mountaintop for video games.
Bruh. And look, some of this, y'all, look, this gaming ain't our main thing. Usually we started out always talking about comic books, whatever. A lot of this overlaps kind of what we talking about it. So you just take how you take what you learn from it. But to tee it up a little bit more, basically there's one category that has been causing controversy since the award nominations were brought up. Of course, there's the usual like who got snubbed, this and that. Yo, if you follow sports or music or any award show, people have their favorites. People have what they love. Especially with games, it's very personal because you spend a lot of money on these things
and a lot of time.
A lot of time. So you get wrapped up. You get swept up in the moment, if you will. Just like us as Lakers fans, and other fans, Saints fans. Oh man, I'm trying, but other stuff. It happens. Shout out to my Southern Jaguars. Beat up on them Grambling Tigers for the Bayou Classic 50th anniversary. But just had to throw that out there.
Back to the indie games.
Indie games. like all right.
Ain't nobody worrying about them Jaguars right now. We trying to rant. We trying to rant about video games.
I'm actually in my Jaguar shirt. But anyway, yes, about the games. But one big problem was the Indie Game Award. They're generally is a clear-cut definition, and I appreciate RTG talking about this. We're just gonna say RTG instead of his whole name. He didn't go over it completely, but he did state his point. He's like, I'm kind of agreeing with y'all. He's like, I see some points that y'all making, and the problem is, if to be a truly indie game, is it about how it look, or is it how much money is it spent? But one of the nominations, Dave the Diver, it looks cool. I like the premise of it, but apparently it has the backing of a billion-dollar business.
Yeah.
You know, not just like a side project. Even though you can't be indie if you're a side project or whatever. Like Cuphead started out as an indie project. I don't know how you can still count that as one. That's the given example.
Yeah,
But
now you couldn't really count Cuphead as an indie, but
I would say this: even if it was super successful, success doesn't make it not indie. Microsoft backed it though. Once it becomes backed, to how much money did they put into it, or if they spent a certain amount. Cuphead might be that delineation. Like, let's say if Microsoft gave it maybe only 500, but when you have the backing of Microsoft,
yeah,
you kind of,
it's not only monetary. Well, sorry, I'll let you finish prefacing because
no, you was about to say it. Like, it's not only like monetary when you got the backing of something, but Dave the Diver even more so. Like, say Cuphead isn't owned by Microsoft. The company owns Dave the Diver. That's one of theirs. Mm-hmm. Even if it's like a subsidiary that worked on it, whatever, it's still intellectual property of said company. Whereas
$1 billion+ company.
Yes, that is a vast difference.
Now, let's get into the let's go in and get into the ish. There's a part where RGT 85, and I have the video link down below so you can see what he says about it and everything. There's a quote that comes in where someone says, Keeley answered that the definition of an indie game is hard to define. No, it's not. But he follows on saying, and that ultimately is up to the Game Awards jury to pick nominees. I'm going to get into that in a second too. Saying, quote, look, it's a great question. He replied, independent can mean different things to different people, and that's sort of a broad term. Quoting saying, you can argue, does independent mean the budget of the game? Does independent mean where the source of financing was? Does it mean the team size? Is it kind of independent spirit of the game? Meaning the smaller game that's sort of different. Now, here's my issue with this. I'll kick it to you, see what you think. There's a couple points in this that I'm gonna walk through. But my issue is, once again, something gets popular, something gets hot, and then the traditional industry, the traditional money, the traditional outlets come in and hijack that. And then they say, well, it can be anything.
Yeah, see.
But I'll throw it off to you. What's your thoughts? Because I'm going to walk through this on a couple of points. But go ahead.
And this is where I know somebody might be out there like, well, why does it matter? It's Pixar, this and that. Look at y'all. The reason why it matters, because if you go into, I'm going to get a little business minded here. Let's go into the definition of small business. There is a legit definition of small business when it comes to getting funding, getting loans, and getting other things and statistics. I used to do some of this stuff or whatever when it comes to loans or whatever. Certain and especially when you have your own business, like remember what was it, the PPG loans, or I said PPG or
PPP loans. Yeah,
PP loans. There is a legit definition out there that is kind of ridiculous, because there's big companies learn how to manipulate these things. Like even the Lakers, had got that loan, they had to turn it down because there was a lot of backlash. Companies that don't need the money or the acclaim should not necessarily be able to swim in the same pool as, let's say, if me and Mike, we want to make, I don't know, super, in fact, not even me and Mike, your boy who made Super Uber Island, right? Ubie Island. He works on it kind of by himself, right?
Shouts to Andrew Augustin.
So I want to use him as an example. So he does everything himself for the most part, right?
Mm-hmm.
With that game.
it's it don't make no sense
So
that we
you
got to
hear?
go through this. Yeah, I got you.
Okay, okay. So Bob's saying he does everything, right? He does the writing, he does the funding, he does the pitching, he does everything, correct?
Hmm.
So good. So he's one person. Let's just say he hires or contracts maybe no more than 5 other people. Very small, not a big team. Compare that to a team of people, if you will. Let's just say they put this organization can say, all right, you 20 people, go here. Here's your massive budget already funded. Or not even massive, like we're gonna give you the amount to look like an indie, make it look retro, pixelated, cool vibe or whatever, but it's a side project, whereas it's your homie's passion. He's been working on it, he's been doing all the legworks, the logistics, the different things. Those two does not compare. That's like saying, oh, you comparing me to Amazon as a book distributor.
Yeah,
Man, it ain't the same thing. It ain't fair. It's possibly taking recognition for somebody like your boy who did all that work by himself. Those things are a very small team and had to go through the other hurdles of making funds. And it's another way that a big company can take from the little man. And just to compare for comics, if somebody's listening, me and you talk about this all the time. Image Comics. I love Image Comics, but people always want to bring them up as independent. Like even my fellow librarians, if y'all listening, please quit calling Image independent comics, y'all.
yeah. Image is not
Image,
independent. It's not.
Image is a big company that brings other companies on to give them the logistics for as a big company.
But Image is a brand.
Image is a
Like,
brand that can
when you
help
put
smaller
and
companies.
actually when you put the name Image on something, it adds a certain know, like, and trust factor to people under, which goes into the first point I want to make. Jeff Keighley, I ain't got nothing against the man, but I think he's shilling and tap dancing to keep people happy. But I mean, hey, it's your job. Sometimes you got to keep your job.
Well, his job is to get that bag, because
Thank you.
you know I'll
So,
go more to it.
but I don't care about none of these people. None of them sign my check, and I'm gonna just keep it real with y'all. He said independent can mean different things to different people, and it's sort of a broad term. It's only that for people that are large venues or large distributors or large corporations that want to be a wolf in sheep's clothing to play in smaller ponds.
Sure.
Everyone else knows what indie means. Let's be honest. Indie, let's take indie, the term that got popularized under music. Indie music or independent means in no way, shape, or form tied to traditional or large media. Meaning, when I make this album, I am not tied to MCA, Elektra, Motown, Interscope, you name it. I'm not tied to any of them. I made this myself. I'm not tied to any of them in any way, shape, or form. That's what indie is. Y'all know where a whole bunch of grunge and garage, rock came from. Those people were indie. Well, at first, those people were indie, and you knew it was indie. Now, it did have a sound due to the way they had to produce the stuff, and due to it having a certain sound, what happened is when the big players got into it, they tried to replicate that sound to pretend to be indie, to cash in on indie in a way that indies could not cash in. Because you can pretend to be indie all while being able to set up a 30-city tour. When a true indie can do maybe his region. Say, okay, for instance, I live in Virginia. So I might be able to do DC, maybe a show as far as Baltimore. But Baltimore, you're talking about like a 3.5 hour drive. You get kind of far now. You know what I'm saying? Down to Charlotte, North Carolina, that's a 4-hour drive. So I might be able to do those. But that's it. But then MCA might come in, having a band that's pretending to be indie, but then they can tour 30, 40 cities.
Well,
come on, bro. Like we know what indie is. And it doesn't mean different things to different people. The only people it means something different to is Microsoft or Blizzard that wants to pretend to be indie to cash in on the indie trend because AAA titles are not delivering value and they're too expensive.
And to do this, And to go more to your point, let's just say if I'm an indie, I can maybe, let's say if I do a 30 tour, instead of say I'm doing like, instead of doing New Orleans, maybe I'm doing Lafayette. Instead of New York, maybe I'm doing, I don't know, Syracuse. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing
Yeah.
smaller
Yeah,
venues.
you gotta
I might,
go do Buffalo or
I'm doing club,
Syracuse. You can't
I'm
do
doing
New York
club
City.
shows instead of doing music halls. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like you might can do a lot and be successful, but you on a smaller circuit, which does why you have a smaller budget, why you must fit in where you get in per se, and there's why a dollar amount matters. And it is kind of what you just touched upon, and I think RG kind of mention it, like saying instead of like, oh, they on this indie trend, so this could be a little side project that they can make it profitable and look like they fit into this, but they of course can make it smooth and this and that, and it don't take that much effort to make this game, and it's probably a good game. It's well received,
Yeah.
but of course it's doing pixel work when you got all the resources to do it by people who know what they're doing, and writers, probably access to writers, they can probably make this thing and then tell you, oh, it's just a little engine that could, and they have a shell company in front of it,
Mhm.
but it's owned by such and such, like, $1 billion company. And
And
that's
to that
just,
point, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
oh, no, and that's just kind of, that's fraudulent. That's very fraudulent to the
Hmm.
artists who do not have who do not have that capital, who have to take out loans or mortgage on their idea. That's
Yeah.
fraudulent to the people.
Ain't nobody at Dave the Diver mortgaging their home or taking out a loan on their car to try to get the game done.
Yeah, you know, and I'll say this: shout out to companies actually making new IP, but to kind of slip it in, like, you know, as this thing. In fact, and what also I appreciate about the game company, that a lot of the comic book company, industry ain't really doing for some of these people. They all called it out. I watch a
Mhm.
channel called Best Indie Games. He was like, yeah, this no longer is really indie anymore. He's like, I
Not
put an
no
asterisk.
longer. It never was.
I don't know if it got bought into it or whatever, but he's like, by the time it got bought, it ain't that. Like, he
Yeah.
excused it. It's like, if it started out indie, it wasn't
It
it
ain't
fooled,
indie now.
or it may have started, or it appeared to be indie and it kind of fooled people. And I think a lot of those cats who really do the indie gaming and do indie reviews, they do not like that. They feel kind of hoodwinked. I'll tell
Yeah,
you,
and
like,
uh, this isn't new. In 2020, of course, we had, unfortunately, the the murder of George Floyd. There were a lot of black people saying, "Hey, I, if I can't control policy, I can at least control where my dollars go. So I'm going to buy black as much as possible." And you started to see these companies popping up as black companies, but they weren't black companies. They were white run, but they were pretending to be black companies. Why, you ask? Because they're like, hey, there's money here, and I want part of that money. So let me to pretend to be something that I'm really not, because I want this money too. It's no different. Well, I
don't,
mean, there's a
don't you,
large difference morally, but
don't,
it's a very similar thing. I
don't,
see there's money over here. There's money to get. So let me pretend to be something I'm not.
can I just make a quick aside on this, because you touched a slight nerve on me and people even close to my circle. Look, Keith Cooper, owner and creator of the real Blerd-ish LLC.
Not the real.
Yeah, I have to say that sometimes because you got mimics out there. But anyway, I created it. I'm a black man. I may use resources that are owned by non people who don't look like me, non-melanated folks. But at the end of the day, my business, the cash flow to blackness, and I use that cash to actually help other black creators when I sell books and different things. I've had people tell me like, "Oh man, your t-shirts ain't all black owned," but like, bruh, I need y'all, when y'all
You know
need
what?
to understand, to flush out. I know I'm gonna go back to the gaming, but
No, no, no. We're gonna stick on that point. We're gonna stick right there.
when people need to expand their mind about business, they get tight But yet the big man can come and fool some of these same people, pretend to be such and such, and or they can put up their own, indie face and can run you off the block, and then they be like, surprise, haha, we're really a big company.
So here's the thing that kills me about that. There's a website called WeBuyBlack.com, and there was an interview being done for the owner of that company. And WeBuyBlack.com is cool. You can go there, you can order things. They ship it to you. All of the items are black owned, right? So while they're touring the facility, I think he has 2 fulfillment centers, one on the east and one on the west coast, and they're touring it. And the interviewer, he's showing, they're like, well, this is where we got the products here, and we do billing here or whatever. And they look at a product, and he said, the interviewer said, this is made in China. And it's like, so would you say that Target is a Chinese owned company?
Absolutely not.
No, you would not. Would you say that Walmart is a Chinese owned company? Absolutely
right
not. Would you say Macy's is a Chinese owned company? But notice when you have someone who is actually indie trying to build up and doing what other companies do. Yes, I am using I guess a software, or I'm selling a product that does not mean that it's not black owned, and you know it. You're being intentionally ignorant
behind
to try to push a narrative.
The word I like to say is they being obtuse as hell. I use TeePublic. TeePublic is a great drop fulfillment shipper of t-shirts. I wear them all the time, every day. They make a shirt. I'm a big man. They make my size. They make dope shirts in my size. I do, like, you can be an affiliate, or you can put up some of your own art out there. I get some art commission. I do a combination of both. And people are like, well, you ain't making the shirts, you ain't printing yourself, you didn't. Like, y'all, even if I had
do you think Mr. Target or Mr. Walmart is out there making the soap that's in the aisles?
Even if, let's say, I did the shirts myself, where does it stop, people? The silk, the wool comes from raw materials from other countries. When does it stop? When will you cut people slack as black business people owners? And I ain't talking about them faulty businesses.
It stops at their moral high ground.
It's like, I am a black business. I have filled out the paperwork. I have done this. I have used the resources that I am getting to make a black business, to grow it. So maybe I can source better as I get more funding or whatever, or if I choose to do so. But like you say, these companies that are big, because every February, and I'll just go on another point about Target. Y'all, Black History, when it comes up, please buy your books from a person like me or from the artists themselves. Don't go to Target and Amazon when they give you that little dusty owl up there.
They give you your one little baby owl, and y'all be all excited.
With Kunta cloth pattern on it.
Yeah, they got the kente out there, and y'all all hyped. Matter of fact, and conversely, creators, artists, don't let me see y'all out there jumping, hooting and hollering because y'all got a corner of an aisle in Target when you had access to distributors that are black at your fingertips the whole year.
Hey, bro, I'm gonna go further. I'm gonna quote Milton Davis. Who should be each other, who should be, especially for black people, we should be our own distributors. If we can sell each other stuff, even in just one item, it helps lifts all ships. What they say, rising tides lift all ships. I never heard that until I heard it from some non-melanated folks. I'm like, that is a dope saying. Why have I not heard that before? But anyway, I'm gonna get back to the game.
But back to the indie,
back to the indie gaming.
Here's another statement that I don't like on it. Jeff goes on to say, you can argue, does independent mean the budget of a game? Does independent mean where the source of financing was? Does it mean team size?
Bruh.
Yes, it does. You can't argue. You can't argue it. You know what it means.
Jeff, I want to believe. I don't want to
Jeff,
hate the
you
man.
full of it.
Jeff
I don't
is
even hate the man. My
like
issue is I hate the fact that he came out and made this statement. He should have just let it live on its own.
when he said all these things, and back to my financial training, that's exactly, those factors are exactly what comprise a small business.
Yeah,
Slash anything.
when
Like
you
those
go to
things,
get a grant, those things matter. So yeah,
those things
it can't
vastly
be
matter.
argued. It can't be argued. It's
In fact,
specifically, it's expressly stated. And now, even though we don't have a document to say what indie is, we all have a collective, what they call a collective conscious understanding of what indie is. It is no ties to a traditional or major, or I guess you could say distributor as well.
fun
You know what I'm
fact.
saying?
Fun fact. This is how the Lakers got that loan before, because the office of the Lakers is under the employee count where the Fed definition is for small business. So that was one factor that led it. So let's just say, you think you got all these people, whatever, it's not the Staples Center or whatever it's called now, or I don't know.
What is it? I don't know.
The LA Live thing or something, whatever, the complex that is that. But because let's say the Bus family, they have a few presidents, this and that, and probably even including, if you want to include the team, I don't think the team counts, because I don't know how that works. But even if you include the team, so that's like say 15 people, maybe a coaching staff of 10 to 20, then whatever the people who run it. So that don't include like the staffers who work probably for the stadium.
Yeah,
They don't own the stadium.
And see, that's the thing. Like, they knew they were wrong. Just like Harvard got caught getting that PPP loan. They knew they was wrong, but they knew there was money to be gained, so they went and did it anyway. Just like the creators or the publishers for Dave the Diver. They knew they could, so they did it. And this idea that they're like, oh, they just got an indie spirit. Man, stop it.
Like, I hate it.
Because the whole term of the indie spirit is someone who's fighting against the tide of marketing that you just can't beat. And that's the indie spirit. You ain't got that because you got $1 billion.
That you mentioned also, and even more so than say the number of people, the amount of money of the project matter and the amount of the business matter. That matters. Distribution and logistics really are the main thing between comic books, video games, movies, all forms of media. This is
also an established identity and and partnerships. Like, think about this. If you're an artist, Interscope can call up Marriott or a Hilton or whatever and make sure that all your rooms are straight all across the nation. They can do that. They can make that call in the afternoon.
Let's keep it real.
How you going to do that as an indie artist?
You got to call everybody. You got to send an email. You got to hope and pray that they call you back or don't laugh at you or straight up block you or send a death threat to you. Be like, don't you ever call this number again.
Don't you ever call this number again.
Asking for free shit.
You selling your little 100 albums. Ain't nobody think about you.
Like, or they be like, can you fill up our ballroom at least? And we'll give you a 20%. Maybe we'll give you a 20% discount on your room. They're not even gonna cut you a free room. Like, the big people can not only get the rooms for free or comped or half off, because Marriott will see value being attached to, let's say, when Drake was up and coming. I remember him because he actually did a promo tour in Baton Rouge at the Varsity Theater. Local people that was just a simple, easy stop for him. Whereas the Varsity Theater might be like a garage band in Baton Rouge, like Ultimate Dream. Like, oh man, I got to perform at LSU for that. That was just a Tuesday stop for Drake. You know what I'm saying? So
it was nothing for him.
Yeah,
and this
and people already knew who he was because he was already a star on Degrassi.
Yeah, he was a star on Degrassi, and by that time he already had the cosign of Lil Wayne.
So, yeah, because I
so imagine this: you got that TV money and notoriety, plus a cosign from someone who is huge in hip hop at the moment. Come on, man!
Like,
you ain't gonna beat that.
And let's take another example for a game that I eventually will get. And I'm on, I guess, other indies or any outlets don't, show love to your your melanated indie folk as well, because we get the even further shaft, like Thunder Ray. You know, people was complaining about the sound. I talked about this before. Imagine if Thunder Ray, which is a completely indie product, which is a Punch Out like, or in the spirit of Punch Out. Imagine if, say, Nintendo say, you know what? There's reasons we're never gonna do a Punch Out. Hey, Thunder Ray, we like you. We're gonna put the Nintendo seal on it, or we're gonna partner with you. We're gonna do these things. Like, yes, you're on our platform, but we're gonna put you in like the Nintendo advertisement and tell people to go buy this game and blah blah blah. And maybe you just give us a small cut.
We're gonna give you a a budget of XYZ to do whatever you want to do on the game.
Yeah, like, because you know, when you're on YouTube, how many times have you seen the WarioWare Shake It commercial? Can't get away from it on YouTube. No matter if you like, you really could not get away from it. Imagine instead of like every 10 times that you see WarioWare, you see Thunder Ray once. Do you know what that would do for a game that's only like, say, $14? How that would change the trajectory of their sales?
Mm-hmm.
With to be paired with Nintendo, even though it's on the Nintendo, it's on all platforms. But let's just say, even not Nintendo, let's just say Sony be like, hey, Thunder Ray, we're gonna put you on top of our.
And honestly, even if they featured them, I'd still allow them to say that they were indie because they were featured. They didn't have a hand.
But I'm saying
until Nintendo injects money into them.
But I'm saying have even the hookup like that.
Well, true,
like,
yeah. Nobody gets that hookup.
I'm just saying, just if that was like to say, like they got the cup, like Cuphead got the Microsoft blessing, they got the money and the blessing. But I'm just saying, like, most indie people don't have constant YouTube promotions, ads going. You gotta find them. You know who actually promotes? Guess what? Our fellow podcasters and people and YouTubers who do the reviews, who do the work, will go be like, hey y'all, I did this such and such. Here is Thunder Ray. This is why you should or should not buy it. You know, or try it out for yourself. This is where you can find it. I listen to people like that because I respect what they do, because we do something very similar and we appreciate it. And them cats may not be getting a ton of money and they're accessible. You can talk to them. One dude, shout out, Good Talk HQ. Holler at him all the time when we do something. I'll drop him a comment. Man, he's on the Twitch, on live. You can talk to him. He's doing the work for these big, not saying for the big companies, but it's a part of his content making machine that actually gets them sales. I have bought games because of his recommendations, because usually what I'll do for indie, especially if I know it's a well-known indie is coming, if I say best indie games or Good Talk HQ or like Maple Gaming or something, generally I go through an aggregate about 3 or 4 and I'll be like, and Thunder Ray was one where all of them was very much so looking into it. And I don't know how much money that company who owns it, but I doubt they're $1 billion company. They might make some good money, but they might still count as an indie. They're not. Mm-hmm. They're in. I think they're from Argentina or from South America, but people love the look of it and say, all right, we're never getting a Punch Out because rumor be told, Nintendo may have lost a lot of money on the last Punch Out. Look that up. There's a rumor, but it's never going to be confirmed or denied by Nintendo. But this kind of, if you were looking for a Punch Out, this is like they took that and was able to do the best as a Punch Out like. A lot of classic games. There's Zelda likes, there's Punch Out like, there's Mario likes, blah blah blah, yada yada. But they actually, they really did something that caught people attention because it's basically like a anime boxing game, with a black character. So it really stood out. So imagine if there was another Punch Out like or whatever, like the people that did Dave the Diver, but if they want to put a little extra juice on it, so imagine if they found out like, oh, Thunder Ray's doing this. Oh, you know what? Punch Out likes. There's never going to be another Punch Out until maybe like say the Switch 2, until Nintendo ever gets over the shame of whatever happened with Punch Out and that the rumors supposed. So let's say we want to cash in on anime boxing arcade like. There's no more arcades, but we can easily make one. Let's say you 20 people. Here's 5 million. Go make it. And make it really smooth and polished, but put enough vibe on it to make it look like a hand-drawn such and such thing. You
And
know,
that's where you come in with this issue of like continually dealing with the intentional misunderstanding. So we have RGT shows a tweet between Aaron Cini, or I hope you pronounce it right. I apologize, but Aaron Cini tweets and then Greg Miller responds. So Aaron Cini says, "I understand both sides." Of course you do. You know what I'm saying? Because he works for the Game Awards. But I do feel the term best indie game is more of a look and feel these days than a
uh,
semantic over definition. I love how it's a semantic now. Now it's a semantic thing.
uh-huh.
It's more of a look and a feel. It's a vibe.
It's a vibe.
Whenever someone looks to erase or loosen the definition of something, be very wary. Definitions, they exist for a reason.
And I ain't gonna
So
say,
when
look,
someone looks to remove the definition or something or get real loosey goosey about it, now all of a sudden it's like, be very weird. What you need to start asking questions. So Greg Miller response says, "I respect your opinion, Aaron, but this is a crazy argument to me. So if Naughty Dog set aside a 10-person team to make a pixel art 2D
thank
side
you,
scroller, we put them in this category, bruh. Come on."
thank
Now
you.
I'm just saying, bruh. He ain't say that, but he said, "I think you got to change the name of the category if that's the case. But here's the thing: they don't want to change the category because award shows is how you bestow legitimacy. So what you do in this award show is you say, hey man, we want to dip into this indie market, but people know we not indie. Let's make this game that has the look and feel of indie. Have the Video Game Awards bestow legitimacy on us, and boom, we make money." Think about it. No matter what it is, music, games,
Cause,
anything. Whenever you get nominated for something, sales go up.
and let me explain
So,
this.
oh,
If
go
you,
ahead.
and think of it. Indie game is a thing that gives. It is. You know, people like, oh, awards don't matter. I get it. If you're one of those people, if you're a sensible person, none of it should matter. You should form your own opinion, especially with something like games that's very personal. But like as NERDSoul just said, sales, man. In the indie game category is a complete game category. It isn't like best audio technical thing. It sounds good, but more than likely, any game that wins, like say something like a tech award in gaming, gonna probably win like best game direction, something kind
Mhm.
of bigger. That like say like Mario might is a nominee for best game of the year. Let's just say Mario may not win it. It probably will be like say Breath of the Wild might really have a bigger shot, but Mario might win best family game. So you can slap that on the title, or next time Mario or Nintendo want to
Mhm.
release a video, they'd be like, "Oh, winner of best family game, of course. Four people can play. A whole family can play it." See
Because
how you
now,
can market it.
because this award show has bestowed legitimacy. Now, I'm a, I'm a, I'm a roll to this last point, and then we're going to get out of here. And I'll let you say, drop your thoughts. With indie games, with large publishers, with award shows, let me break down to you how this stuff happens, from Oscars to all this stuff. When you're an indie game, a true indie game, where it's like you and your friend want to make this game and y'all are excited about it, and you make it and you put it out on Steam, and it does well. What you can't do is what, say, Blizzard can do, is the governing body, the voting body, Blizzard, and I'm not saying they're doing it, I'm just saying they can, because this happens in music, it happens in games. I'm not saying who does it, but someone like Blizzard, someone like Ubisoft can send let's say care packages to the voting body, and like they'll say, for your consideration. Now, and for your consideration, when you're talking about like Hollywood, you'll see like the DVD, and they'll say, hey, this is for your consideration. If you haven't watched it, go on and watch it. But you won't just get the DVD. What you'll get is a nice little package with the DVD and all kinds of gifts and goodies and these little things. You want to know why you're getting more than just the movie? Do you want to know why?
I
Because they're trying to
mean,
buy your vote. That's something that an indie gamer, an indie dev can't do.
unless
An
they
indie
got,
dev can't send out 200-300 gift bags to the voting body of whatever. Whether it's music, whether it's games, they can't do that. Just like when they do these screenings, why do you think they bring you out to the screening, let you meet the actors, giving you free food? They got wine and stuff there, they got the little ambiance. What do you think? Because they want you to feel good about your experience, so then you'll feel good in your review. They can't just be like, all right, sit down, check out the movie, let me know what you think.
Let's just take Michael J. White, The Legend of Johnny Black. It's now on digital. I did see it in theaters because I wanted to support it. It was okay. Wasn't the best movie, but distribution for say like when when the people who when Disney was sending out fillers to send people to go screen Loki because they couldn't get other press to do it. Shout out. You can see that. Shout out to our friend Dana who went and did that in Atlanta. Nothing for them to do that. To get say have a relationship with AMC theaters, right? Johnny Black was in only a few theaters for like a couple of days. It was like, whatever distribution he had, he got the bare minimum of it and it was gone. And now it's on, he has enough, probably know the business enough to get it on like Amazon. I think it's coming to Netflix. So you can stream it. So he has at least that. Loki, you could go into theaters probably from the West Coast to New York and Atlanta and other big places to see a couple episodes and get hundreds and thousands of people. Vast difference, y'all. A vast difference in that. So logistics and distribution matter greatly. Stop falling for the okie doke, especially to the, to our people in the comic book industry. I ain't gonna go deep into that, but know what is independently owned, especially know what is a black owned comic, and know what is a big time comic.
Yeah, like stop.
Shout out to Jason Reeves. Shout out to Jason Reeves. That was one of the greatest posts.
Black
of the year.
owned is in the title, dum dum. Black owned.
Oh, bro,
Black Panther. He's cool. I think he's an awesome character. Really love the first movie. Guess what? It's not black owned.
It can be black
Marvel
written.
is not a black company. Stop it.
But it is technically,
Milestone is not black owned. And I know people will argue me on that. It's not. Let me ask you this. Can the black owners of Milestone get up right now and leave DC and do whatever they want, drop whatever they want, whenever they want, and they got to tell nobody nothing? No.
All I know is
they're not black owned. Now,
released out the distribution to DC, that's for sure.
So with that said, I'm gonna throw it over to Coop. Final thoughts.
Y'all, I know
indie game debacle.
We kind of went all over. Please watch that video. RTG did a good real
job.
RTG, and
shouts out to him.
Did a good job. I think it is a debacle. I think it like I'm not in the industry per se. I'm just a fan. I'm just a dude who love indie game. Like, look, Mike teases me all the time. I'm an indie game lover, y'all. Like, these AAA companies don't deserve
I love my indie games too. I got indie games.
Like, I'm just saying, like, I might play the most, like, I might play a hand-drawn beat 'em up that ain't Streets of Rage. Mike be like, what is this obtuse beat 'em up? I don't know, but I like it. But, what I'm saying? Like Maximus. Look that up. That might be one where everybody's chunky, but they beating the hell out of each other. I might get it. For $5, but that $5.
I might put an indie game in the background of this conversation. An indie game like Halo.
Man, boy, look,
man, like why are we playing these games?
Oh
like,
my God!
Stop allowing established traditional media to tell you what indie is. They're not indie. They want to cash in on it. Like, man,
it'd be the most funniest of things. It'd be the most successful people of all time, or there was a part of a group of a most successful thing. They were like, he struck out on his own. He still has the relationships to get his stuff out whenever he wants. I.e., let's say, like with Brandon Sanderson and all the writers are going, oh, he has the largest Kickstarter. The dude got books in my library, folks. A lot of them. Everybody know his name. Like, okay, he just used one platform to another. He is the show. He is the talent. He, like Nas, when he went indie, Nas is already super established as a Grammy Award winning.
So
rapper.
I wouldn't consider Nas. I mean, Nas is independent at the moment, but I wouldn't consider him an indie artist. But Nas started out with the backing and the funding of a record label. And
he
not even an
showed an
indie
improvement.
label at the time.
Yeah, like he was at the top. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to games, this form of media, like there's so many really small people. Like shout out to the Mix. They bring a lot of things to light, and they also feature a lot of black voices in gaming. Like some very things. They create platforms for these smaller things. Like there's also like great shows like PAX that made it a point to highlight indie creators along with this. So I feel for the podcasters and the people who do this, call this garbage out, but like, y'all ain't about to have me out here looking, crooked and distasteful. And I love that these people are standing on their ground, on their morals for it, because they play loose and fast with this definition when the established people that have the funding penalizes you for when you are too small, even if you have the idea, but then they give to the partners who can come through but already got the money. So I appreciate him. He does it a little tongue in cheek, but at the end of the day, he does say, RG was like, yeah, I agree with this. I don't agree with what Jeff is doing. And he makes fun of him a little bit, like, secure that bag, Jeff. And
yeah, it's like, I get it. You got to tap dance to get that money. I get it.
Here's the thing. I'm gonna give a shout out to Jeff, because as a small independent person, or I ain't even gonna say he was independent, because he already had connections, because he worked in the business, but he basically is known as the E3 killer. E3 was bloated, big, insidery.
Yeah, very exclusionary.
And he took it over. He basically made the summer games. He got the game awards. He came in a time during the pandemic and was really doing stuff from his room. But he had, like, look at Jeff's history. Like, he always was an insider, but he expanded it. So he, in the spirit of what he did, he's now becoming the big dog, because he is E3. He's done it in an award show format. Like, look, for real though, what you can ask Mike when I'll just drop something on like summer games, whatever. What do I come with? I'm like, hey man, look at this trailer, dog. I might put it on wish list. People wish list from that. Like, in a lot of those games, the trailers and the wish list are ready that day. Like, let's just say during the Game Awards, because fact, GTA 6, I don't know if the trailer is gonna be on the Game Awards. I think the trailer is gonna drop before the Game Awards. If that trailer drops before the Game Awards, don't you think Rockstar's will like, hey Jeff, we need a good 2-3 minutes to play our trailer.
And they pay for that time. They pay good for that time.
Thank you.
And I ain't got nothing wrong with them paying for that time. My issue is pretending like they ain't paying for it.
So if it's, even though this $1 billion company, we don't know them from a box of oranges or whatever, but they got the money. But if you can stamp a product with an award that could have went to, like, say, a Thunder Ray or a Super Uber Island 2, if they could ever get those nominations, and to get,
matter of fact, that's what I'm gonna put Super Ubie Island remix in the background. That's what we playing. That's what we playing right now.
Hey man, put Thunder Ray in that too. But
I ain't got no Thunder Ray right now, but I'll cop that.
But you know what? And it's on sale. And no, Keith Cooper ain't getting promoted for it. I just want to like that game. I just want to see more of Thunder Ray, because I think it's a cool thing. And it got brothers that look like us as the lead character, and his coach is like a dope old black man with a toothpick in his mouth. But anyway, but it's just, yeah, folks, like, y'all don't fall for the okie doke. And this ain't me trying to be no hater. I promise you, if you're a big company, but be a big company. Don't fall into the little pond sucking up all the juice, all the H2O, and then you're kicking all the other fish out the pond. You know what I'm saying? Like, I doubt Dave the Diver win. He better not win that award. If he gonna stick
just
in there.
Just the fact that he's in it is already an L for the Game Awards, in my opinion.
Like, I'm gonna still watch it. I'm gonna still put it on the website, because I like to put it in the game news and to and talk about it in the Discord and see what's going on in the game industry and all that stuff. But the bigger question is, who got snubbed because of Dave the Diver? They should be ticked off. They the ones who should be really pissed off, because they don't have a shot to get an award, to have an honest opinion about it. And that's what it is, folks. That's just like saying you did all that you can. You working you hardest, you doing your best at your job, and here comes the boss's nephew. Yeah, he might be actually good at what he does. But how did he get this position? How did he doing the same thing that you doing?
Yeah, he didn't get it because he was smart. He got it because he was boss's nephew.
He can get training and access that you can't get 24/7, and you starting out behind the 8 ball. So I'm saying, should he be rewarded for that? Nepotism. I get it. That's what this country is built on. But sometimes,
once again, I'm not even against nepotism or cronyism. Fine, do it. My issue is doing nepotism, receiving nepotism or whatever, and pretending like you didn't.
Pretending like you pulled it out of thin air.
Yeah, pretending like I was just super smart. It's like,
pretending like I'm a graphic designer, game creator. I'm working on these pixels day and night. Boss man, I'm doing this, I'm drawing this, when there's like 50 of y'all working on them pixels together to smooth it up and to make it at a high resolution pixel thing. And like David Diver, it looks good. It looks really good. It's like if you took, it's like 3 different genres mixed together. It's like Echo the Dolphin.
Yeah, then took that Echo the Dolphin and Pearl
RPG,
Diver.
Overcooked, different things. It is a unique thing. I wanted to possibly fool around with it when it went on sale when I get through all my others backlog, but I'm like, I might have to take that out of solidarity for the small man and just take it out my wish list and be like, I'm done with it, because that's they try to pull the wool over your eyes.
So where can they find you?
Anyway, y'all, for the gaming, catch me at twitch.com/blerd_ish. Easy to find me. I put videos on various things through the website, but of course you can find me at www.blerd-ish.com, blerd-ish on IG. I'm also on Threads, blerd-ish1 on there, and also on Facebook, Keith Cooper, and on the Blerd-ish Facebook page.
Man, look. You know what? My final thought is this. Stop faking the funk. Stop it. Just stop it. You ain't got to lie, Craig. That's it. So, NERD, SOUL, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, podcast, all that jazz. And until next time, just so you know, right now on Steam, you can get Thunder Ray, the video game and the soundtrack, for just $12.57. Right now on Steam, you can get Super Ubie Island. All right, Super Ubie Island Remix, only $9.99. All right, dope games. They're fun. Hours of play. And you don't have to break the bank with $80, $100 with the special release edition. You got to pay extra money to get Omni-Man. Got to pay extra more money to get a Halloween Fatality. You ain't got to do all that.
Yo, bro, I'm be honest.
You ain't even got to bust out $20.
Street Fighter is where I stop with the fighting games right now.
But you know what I'm saying? With that said, much love to all y'all. We'll see y'all next time. Y'all stay real. Peace.
Peace.